Hello everybody and welcome back to another battle report from Wardo Gaming Battle Reports. I bid you all welcome. I don't know if you guys can hear it on my voice, but I have been with a very nasty cold for these couple of last days. But I'm starting to feel better now, so now we can continue on with these battle reports from the previous weekend. For everybody that has followed my previous battle reports up to this point, this is the list that I have been playing so far, and this is the list that I took to the Games of Westeros tournament. If you guys wanna find out more information about it, then jump into my list tutorial or pause now. Otherwise, we continue on as always. Right, so game 2 in the Games of Westeros tournament, and this time we are up against none other than
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back.
Yeah, that's right. Blood-sucking vampires. Twilight Factory. Nah, not really, but the vampire counts. And this is an army that I don't have so much experience going up against, to be honest. I have faced them about 2 times before, and the first time I went up against them was a year ago or so in another tournament that I was going to, and that was a big loss to me. And the second time was against this same opponent that I will face this time, and that was a draw, and that was for a couple of weeks ago. So let's see what he brings this time. Alright, so as far as I can tell, it's all about a big ass vampire Death Star riding on, what's them called? Skeletal steeds. So it's 5 vampire courtiers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 vampire courtiers. One is the BSB, 2 of them are wizard apprentices with occultism and evocation, and then they are basically vanilla, all of them. So that means heavy armor, shield, lance, and barded warhorse. And one of them is carrying the obsidian rock for some magic resistance support. And they are going in a big unit of baronites that has full command, banner of speed. So they are movement 9, I guess, something like that. So yeah, that can be quite devastating if they get the charge on you. That would mean a crap ton of strength 7 and above attacks. Well, not above, strength 7 and strength 6 attacks if they charge you. Anyway, and for the rest of his army, he has a necromancer as his general, which is a wizard master with evocation. He has the dead rise. He's going in a skeletal unit that is just having a musician in it, so a little skeleton bunker. Then more for core, he has 31 ghouls with the champion, then some direwolves, some more direwolves, and then for redirectors he has some giant bats, some more giant bats, and some heavy hitters on top of that with a dark coach, and ending it off with 8 vampire spawns with a champion in it. Alright, so I'm maybe not the best person to rate this list, since I have so little experience with this army, but from my standpoint, I think I have the upper hand in this matchup, to be honest. The thought process is that my catapults will take care of the baronite unit, my doomwheels will take care of the vampire spawn unit, my Ysales will shoot down the dark coach, my chaff will kill his chaff, and my plague monk unit will just decimate the ghouls, and Torsten with all his magics will clear out his chaff, and I see not so many threats. What I see is I can't get the vampire spawns in my flank, that's for sure. I can't let them go up on a flank either unchallenged. And yeah, my shooting needs to be effective if this is going to work. That's the thing that can threaten me the most, is that if my shooting is totally obsolete and my magic do no damage whatsoever, then he will probably grind me down. Well, he can at least threaten me with that, because this vampire unit will do so much damage in whatever it gets into, and I really can't let that vampire unit get a easy charge on top of me either. So Yeah, okay, if I wanted to change anything with this list, I would probably add some Terrorgeist or Banshees or whatnot, those things that scream. I find them really, really hard to kill, and they are a really pain in the ass to face, to be honest. That's from my previous experience with this army, at least. Anyway, guys, let's jump into the battle report and see what happened.
So familiar and overwhelmingly.
Alright, so here we have the layout of the table. And for starters, I need to apologize for some of the pictures that I will show in this battle report. They came out with pretty low quality, to be honest, and I think it has to do with the mat and the terrain taking up all the sharpness from the camera. And that will mean that the units instead get a bit blurry, so I have to apologize for that in advance. So instead we will try to use the good pictures as much as possible, and then just use the blurry ones as an add-on for what happened in that turn, sort of. You will see what I mean later on. Anyway, moving on into the battle report. For deployment type, we had Dawn Assault, which means you pick a corner and then diagonal from that corner. Those both corners are unallowed to deploy in. And then for secondary objective, we had King of the Hill. So you pick a terrain piece, and then you will have to have a scoring unit in that terrain piece at the end of the game. And he chose this water feature. Yeah, this is supposed to be a water feature, even though it looks like a hot ball of lava. But we played it as water. And I picked this hill that I have most of my units on. So he needs to have a scoring unit on top of that hill, and I need to have a scoring unit in the little water bath there. Also worth mentioning is that this thing here, as you can see on the lower left corner here, we played it as an impasse sort of. So we said that this side of the table has this terrain piece as default where you can't deploy, which means that you can't pick the other corner to not be able to deploy in, because that would mean he will just have a slight little opening for deployment. And that means also, so we made it more even, that the one that gets this side will choose the other side in what corner he can't deploy in. And my opponent won the roll-off on who picked the side. He chose this side, and then he picked my left corner, bottom left corner here, or the bottom right corner, sorry, that I couldn't drop in that. And then I took the advance and choose myself to be the one that drops first. I dropped some swarms, he then dropped some dogs here. I then dropped some Ysails on the little hill. He dropped some more dogs or bats, can't remember which. I then dropped a catapult, and he dropped some more chaff. And then after we had this dance for three times, I just decided to drop the rest, because he has so many chaff drops that he will just outspend me in chaff. So I won't win this dance. And then I dropped, so it looks like this. I have plagues and spears here on the bottom, and some rat swarms here in the middle. Behind that, some Ysails and a plague claw catapult. I will show you a better picture. Here we have it, so the Ysails and the plague claw catapult, and next to them a doom wheel. Then next to them the plague monks with the fat one in it, and then a plague claw catapult on top of the hill. Back to the first picture, then more Ysails, the Night Runners up here, and their mission is to go and claim the objective here, guarded by a doom wheel and Torsten and his friends, and that's my deployment. Then for my opponent, he has some ghouls down here in the left corner, then some vampire spawns behind them, and next to them there are the vampire Death Star. Close to them are some dogs. Then behind them the necromancer bunker with the skeletons. Then chaff bats, more dogs as chaff, and then the vampire couch at his upper left corner. And that was the deployment. So rats went first, but first we need to check what kind of magic we have. For Torsten, he has Hand of Heavens, Mighty Unbeliever, Trial of Fate, and what was this? Awaken the Swarm, of course. And for the fat one, it was Hand of Glory and that Toxic Breath weapon spell. And for my opponent, he had none of the magic missiles, that is. He was all about the combat, so he had all the hexes and all the buffs in evocation. That means reroll the hit, reroll the wound, and that thing that lowers your resilience and your discipline 1, and then something else. And it was that in combination with raising his army. So it's all about raising the army, make sure it comes in with full wounds, and then hex you and buff himself in combat. So the synergy is all about combat. So that makes it even more devastating for him if he can get in fresh into combat with me and then just grind me down, which I can't allow. So the shooting has to be on point here. Anyway, rats, turn 1. So this is after turn 1 movement. Yeah, well, there's no point in me going up on the advance against a combat-oriented army, to be honest. I'm waiting for my shooting to do some damage first. So I'm just staying put and realigning my units to be ready for the threat. And this is how it looks like on the other flank. I move up the Plagues and Severes a little bit. That's about it. Then we go into the magic phase, and I think I do like 2 wounds on the dogs with a magic missile of some sorts, and basically nothing else. I think I got off Trial of Fate on the vampire couch, and he rolled higher on me on it, so magic was totally obsolete. Then we go into the shooting phase, and look at this. Exactly what I needed. Double 1, turn 1 on one of the catapults. Hell yeah!
Go, 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 go.
Well, yeah, that sucked major donkey balls, to be honest. After that, the other catapult missed. Oh, actually, it misfired as well, and couldn't shoot for 2 turns, I think it was. And then the Essays opens up, kills maybe a knight or so. The Duel opens up. No, it's not in range, so you couldn't shoot. Yeah, but here, look at this. The other Essays blinked in 2 wounds on the Dark Coach, so that's really nice. But that's about what we do in the shooting phase. So Vampire counts turn 1. So for the vampires, he takes the coach and closes its gap between him and the necromancer, so he can start to heal it back into full wounds. Then he takes one of the wolves and realigns it to go up here on his right flank. Then in the middle he just pumps up some wolves to to throw them into the grinders. Then we have a really blurry picture here, but what he does actually is that he takes the ghouls and then pushes them forward, and the vampires spawn to threaten his left flank. Then we go into his magic phase, and he gets the number 4 card. And of course he heals back the vampire couch to full wounds. And after that he had no more spells, so vampire couch back to full wounds, and we have rats turn 2. Since he has no shooting. Yeah. Alright, so we had to think a little bit here, and what we do is that we take the pendulum and then presses it into the wolves just to get rid of them, because otherwise they will be pretty annoying. Then we shafts his Death Star with my little rat swarms, because the thing is here, I have actually the lightning rod ready to use. So what I will do is shaft his Death Star and then kill his shaft here, and then hopefully kill one of the bats or maybe 2 of the bats with Torsten, and then activate the lightning rod next round and press onward with all my units. And if I can charge my pendulum into his his vampire Death Star, I think actually I will win that combat and maybe pop that unit. That's what I'm hoping for. I know that unit is really, really hard, but I think I have a good chance there, actually. And other than that, yeah, the Plagues and Severes couldn't handle all that pressure. They had to back off. So I went back to protect this flank with him. And other than that, I move up with some of the other things, well, most things, and then prepare for better shooting and magic phase, hopefully. From another angle, how the table looks, turn 2 of the moment. And we start off by hexing the vampires with lowering their toughness, and he lets it go. So the vampires are now down to toughness 3. After that, we try to get off a Trial of Fate on his vampire couch, but fails it. And then we try to snipe the wolves or the bats, can't remember which, with Awakened Rat spell, and he dispels it. So no more magic that turn. Then we go into the shooting phase, and the Doom Wheel opens up and do 2 or 3 wounds to the vampire couch, so it's down to 1 or 2 wounds left. And then the Night Runners opens up on the dogs and kill off 2 of them. Then we plink in another wound or so on the vampire unit with the assails and Doom Wheel, which wasn't that impressive to be honest. And yeah, the catapult, like I said, misfired previous round, couldn't shoot this turn. And then the assails here, I think either they miss or they do. They hit the vampire couch and he gets his ward save off or so. So this round wasn't that impressive either. So far it doesn't look all that well for the rats, to be honest. Though what we did was totally obliterate the dogs, no surprise there, and then we pushed up with a pretty long overrun. So now we are threatening his vampires here in the middle. So vampires, turn 2. And as you guys can tell, he's measuring here to see how far it is between the Dark Coach and my Doom Wheel, and it is 17.5 inches or so. And then he thinks about it pretty long and hard and tells himself like, should I do this charge? Why not? Yeah, well, I have nothing else to lose. Yeah, fuck it, I'll go for it. And he pulls off the charge, and what he rolls is a miss. So yeah, lucked out there. I think he needed maybe 9, at least 9. No, it might have been 10 on Swiss Ride or so, maybe 11 even. I can't remember what it has in advanced movement, but even though he failed that charge, which makes me a very happy camper. Yay! But that was his only charge. Since I activated the lightning rod, he didn't fall into the trap with the vampires charging my rat swarms. So it looks like this instead. He backed them off, to be honest. Yeah, well, good for him. What he did though was actually shaft me with another vampire here. Yeah, so sneaky little vampire, eh? After his movement it looked like this, and I'm sorry again for the blurry pictures. He took out the vampire spawns and threatened my flank. They now have the reroll charge option since they are on a hill. The ghouls went up forward, and the vampires backed off, luring me into a very sticky situation here with the pendulum. So I think he's playing well so far. Vampire coach, yeah, like I said, failed the charge, and yeah, rest looked like this. Also, yeah, he shafted me with his dogs here, and yeah, that would mean no more dogs. Then in the magic phase, he got the number 3 spell card. And what he tried to do is try to regenerate wounds on the Dark Coach, but he failed all of his spells. If he didn't fail, I dispelled them. I was really greedy on my dispel rolls this turn, but it paid off, so yeah, I'm happy about that. So the Dark Coach is still down on several wounds. Then we go into rats, turn 3, and as you can see, I charge the wolves with my Night Runners, because I think they will just kill them off since I have additional weapons slowly jazz. And then the Doom just slides off here to start shooting at the Dark Coach again. Torsten and his friends keeps on pumping up on the flank here. I see no threats on this flank unless the vampires wanna do a charge against me here instead. Then I shaft his vampire unit again with swarms, and then I charge his vampire with my pendulum. And I move up my Plague Sensor Bears here on the flank, so they are now out of his charge arc for vampire spawns. As you can see, I have measured here with my dice. to see where the line of sight goes. But he can see me though with his ghouls, but it's like a pretty far charge. I think he needs 10 on dice, if not 10 then maybe 11 or so. I think it is 15 or 14 inches between here, and I feel that I can afford that risky play. Other than that, we go into the magic phase. And in the magic phase, we do absolutely jack shit again, which is starting to get pretty frustrating, to be honest. Yeah, we do no damage whatsoever. But, though, in the shooting phase, we take the dual wheel and shoots off his dark coach. So, hell yeah, score 1 for the dual wheel. Catapults is back online, but misses. The Ysays shoot at the knights, kill maybe 1 knight or so. What else? We see a couple of knights missing, but that's from the Ysays here and the other Ysays. That's about it. Yeah, so the shooting and magic is doing absolutely crap, to be honest. But here in the combat, we kill off his little vanilla vampire, which was no surprise. What we did was we went in, challenged with the fat one, he declined. Then took all the plague monks that was in close combat with him, did 1 wound, then we have charge, 1 wound, and 2 banners, which means we win by 4. He do nothing to me, and then he puffs from static combat rest, so there's no more vampire. And then also here, no surprise, the Night Runners just obliterated the dogs, and then overran into the water feature, which is their landing ground, or whatever you want to say. Their mission is completed now anyway. And they actually took the Danish train from overrunning into the water. Yep, so that's Rat's turn 3. Let's see what the vampires does in turn 3. So here, he takes a long think about this, and he debates what to do, and then he says, okay, my vampire spawn will charge your Ysails. And I was thinking like, okay, why do you really want to do that? But, okay, sure, I choose to flee. He then says, alright, okay, then I want to redirect my vampire spawn into, I think it was my dual wheel. And I was like, yeah, sure, okay. So he rolls the dice, and he faced redirect. And not only that, he also fails the charge to catch the Ysays, because the Ysays runs like 12 inches or so, they just bail out. So yeah, that will mean that he will have to do something with the ghouls. And then he says, okay, yeah, the ghouls charges your plagues and bears. I was like, yeah, I didn't expect anything else, and he rolls for that charge as well, and he faced that as well. So now the table looks like this. Yeah, that ain't looking so great for those vampire spawns, that's for sure.
Oh yeah!
What he does though is that he finally charges his vampires into my rat swarm, so 1 of 3 charges successful. Yeah, it's at least something. And that's what he does in the charge phase. And then let's see what he does in the magic phase. From this blurry picture I can tell that he resurrected 2 Barrow Knights. And that's what he does. And then in the combat phase he just obliterated the swarms. Oh yeah, also worth mentioning from this extremely blurry picture, he shafted me with his bats here on the right flank, so Torsten couldn't go up and challenge his necromancer bunker. Here's a better picture of the vampire knights going into the rat swarms. And also what he has done here, you will see, this is a really smart move actually. He takes up the other bats and then shafts my pendulum unit with it. Which, well, I didn't expect anything else, but you will see, this is a very smart move on his part. Then in the magic phase he got the number 2 spell card, and like I said, he resurrected 2 of the knights here. Alright, so turn 4 rats, and well, this will come as no surprise. Plagues and Severus, even though they fail their frenzy check, but that doesn't do that much. They charge into the flank of the vampire spawns, which will mean dire news for them. The pendulum doesn't charge this, takes a frenzy check, passes it, and then I don't charge the bats. Because I see this as a very dangerous play, because if I go in there with the pendulum, he will have a free charge towards me with the vampire knights. And I think I can't handle that unit, to be honest. But what I do though is that I charge for the Stormer, Torsten and his Stormer and friends into the chaff bats in front of them. And the Night Runners just stay put here in the water. That's about it. Also, the essays here actually rallies. Yeah, so that's nice. So now it looks like this, because I take up the Doom Wheel here on the right flank. And I backs off with a Plague Monk unit, trying to use his chaff to chaff himself. What I have forgotten though, because I am such a fucking I'm sorry, stupid mother effer, is that I forget that they fly. Yeah, so you can all see what will happen here, right? Moving on, we get the number 1 spell card in the magic phase, and we get off Smite the Unbeliever to lower the toughness on the vampire spawns, which means they will get even more fucked up. Then we go for a magic missile of some sort. I can't remember exactly what. I think it was Awakened Swarm on his Barrel Knight unit, and fails it or he dispels it. And yeah, that's basically it. So both magic and shooting has been pretty obsolete. What we have done is kill the Dark Coach with all that. That is pretty pathetic, to be honest. Okay, so before I show you guys the next picture, take a look at this first. Alright, for starters, this combat, we smashes the vampire spawns. We win pretty big. He has like 2 vampire spawns left, I think it is. So he has chefed himself here still, or it might actually be 3 vampire spawns left. So he can't make this charge with the ghouls, so that's out of the question. Then Torsten and his friends just smashes the bats as well. My shooting do like nothing again. Both magic and shooting so far has done pretty much nothing. So we are in Vampire Count's turn 4 now. Guess what he does? Okay, I'll give you a second more. Yeah, he does this. What I told you guys is that I forgot that the bats have fly. Yeah, so he's saying, okay, my bat charges your Doom Wheel. I was like, what? Oh no, fuck man, they fly. I forgot that. I was like, yeah, I was hoping you had actually forgot about it. I'm like, crap. You tried to use them as chaff on your own. Fuck man. And then, okay, and then my vampire knights go into your pendulum. I was like, no. And this was like an auto shot. I think it was 13 inches between here, and he has a champ here, so it's yeah, just auto. And then the bats was also, he couldn't fail none of those charges. So yeah, that means dire news for the pendulum.
Oh, yes, retarded, no. You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I went total full retard and he capitalized on it. Yeah, but okay, now we will have a really nice and funny combat to see what happens. So this is how it looks after his movement phase. He then swift reforms the ghouls and presses on the advance here with them, so they are now in bust formation. He's expecting to flank charge me with them, I think. Then on this flank it looks like this. He presses on with the Necromancer bunker, trying to get away from Torsten and his friends and the rest of my ass. And then we go into his magic phase. And it seems like he gets number 8 spell card, which yeah, could come at a better time, to be honest, in my opinion. And what he does is he starts off by resurrecting some knights, I think it was. I let it go. Then he gets rerolls to hit, which I think it was that spell that I let go, or was it rerolls to wound? I couldn't remember which of them it was. Either one of them I let go and the other one I dispelled. So No, it was actually the one that he lowers my toughness. I dispelled that because I was so afraid that he will make me take a stubborn check on leadership 8 instead of leadership 9, and I couldn't have that. Maybe what if I lose that? Then I will lose the entire unit. Then we go into the combat. And we start off with this combat, and it ends up with his vampire spawns being there no more, so they are just poof, gone. Yeah, look at these lovely little fellas. Die! And then we go into the Doomweed combat, and there's no more bats there either. They just poof, vanish, disappear. But then we go into this combat, and what he does is he thinks about it a little bit, and then he says, okay, my vampires goes first. Well, actually, the toxic thing from my plague field goes first, and I actually think I kill a vampire, a barrel knight with it. But after that, he goes with all his vampires, and he says to me, okay, all I have will punch at the pendulum. I was like, you sure about that? I'm like, yeah, it's going down now, bro. It's definitely going down. So, bro down.
What's up, bro? What, bro? Sup, bro? Take a swing, bro. Right here, bro.
Right, so all the vampires combined that can hit me does 4 wounds to me, I think it is in total. He hits with like 7 or 8 attacks, maybe. Was it more than that? Maybe even more than that. But I couldn't save any of them, barely. Maybe 2 or 3 of all the hits that he got on me. And then he had 1 left. I go back with the fat one, because he hits before his Barrel Knights. I tried to target Barrel Knights, I think it was, or, well, something at least. And then he goes back, and with all the Barrel Knights attacks that he has left, he takes everything into the pendulum, and yeah, this is the result. Smeesh. Yeah, no more fat one. So with the pendulum dead, and he killed off a couple of plague monks as well. I did a couple of wounds back. As you can tell, I killed 4 barrel knights and did a wound on a vampire or so. But he won that combat. Not that big though. He won with a couple of points. But that forced me to take a stubborn check on a leadership of, let's see, not stubborn, steadfast check on a leadership of 6, 7, 8, 9 rollable, and we passed it. So thank God for that. Alright, with that said, it's Rat's turn 5. So let's have a little check now. We killed his vampire spawns, but he killed the pendulum. I think they are pretty even in points, to be honest. We have the Dark Coach up in points though, and that's basically it. Other than that, we have only killed a lot of bullshit chaff from him, and he hasn't killed much from us either. So we're up in points, and we are claiming the objective so far. So what the main goal is right now is just to make sure he won't reach the hill behind my playmonks here. So that's the main objective right now. So with that in mind, we do a frenzy check first with our plague bears here after they had killed off the vampire spawns and fail it, which forces them to go into the ghouls. Then we take the Doomweed, charge into the ghouls as well to support the plague bears. Otherwise they will just bounce, and he will have an easy charge into my plague monks instead. Then after that we take Torsten and his friends and starts to push up forward to threaten his necromancer bunker. Same goes for the Doom Wheel up here on the right flank, and the Night Runners stay put in the hot bath. Then we go into the magic phase, and we get off Smite the Unbeliever on his Vampire Death Star, and then we try to focus spell, snipe his Necromancer, but we fail to pull it off. That's about it, he dispels the rest. So once again, magic doing nothing. Well, not nothing, but it isn't doing any harm. Then we go into the shooting phase, and we lob some crap from one of the catapults on his Necromancer bunker and misses. And then we shoot with the Yeseis on it, but do maybe kill a skeleton or so, not much. But then in combat, look at this. For starters, we take this combat first. We go in and he kills a couple of me, I kill a crap ton of him back. The Doomwheel gets free on impact hits, kills a couple more as well. So we actually grind it down pretty severely here, and that makes me very happy, yay! And in this combat also, those plague monks, they won't go down with a fight. No sir, we don't. We get in 15 wounds on him. Yeah, I repeat that, 15 wounds on him. And he saves not enough, so now he only has his vampire courtiers left. And yeah, that means he has no more scoring unit here left. So what he has to do is take his ghouls, and he has 2 turns to do that and try to reach my hill here. Either that or make sure that my night runners aren't claiming the water. Otherwise, we will get the objective. Even though we kill as much, he killed a crap ton of my playmons as well. So he won that combat, but we passed our steadfast check once again. And yeah, then it's Vampire Count's turn 5. And what he does is, in his movie phase, he tries to flee away from Torsten and friends, and yeah, he just marches up like this. And then in his magic phase, he buffs up his vampires once again with rerolls to hit or rerolls to wound, either one of them, and I dispel the other, and that's what he does in the magic phase. Then we go into the combat. And then he tarnished this unit even further, and he eradicates my plague sense bears with his ghouls. So now we only have a Doomwheel left with 3 wounds left, and this very tarnished plague monk unit. And then we go into rats, turn 6. So what we do in turn 6 is that we forces Torsten and his friends up here on into the middle, and then we closes the gap between them and his necromancer bunker, and then we go straight into the magic phase. And once again, I think it's the 3rd time in a row now, we try to pull off the snipe spell in thaumaturgy on his necromancer general. And he thinks about it long and hard, because we actually get it off this time. And he was like, shall I dispel it or not? Shall I not? Because I really don't want to lose my vampires. Because otherwise you just blast them and hex them. It's like, and he thinks about it for like maybe 10 minutes. And then it comes to a conclusion. It's like, okay, fuck it. Yeah, I let it go. I let it go. I was like, are you really certain? I was like, no, I'm not, but I have to let it go. I was like, okay, sure, because if you let it go, I promise you that general is dead. He was like, no, he will survive. Okay, sure. And then we have a roll-off. I roll like 3 or 2 or 1 or something, and he rolls pretty high, which makes no wounds on him first. And he's like, yeah, great! No wounds. I was like, yeah, but I have this vermin swarm item that makes us re-roll this. I was like, oh, yeah, that works on that spell as well. But yeah, it actually does. I was like, crap! Okay, let's do it again. And then I roll a 6, and it's like, okay, what does this mean? It was like, yeah, you have to roll anything except a 1 or a 2, or otherwise the general is dead. It was like, okay, alright, so you mean that I only need to roll 3 and above and he survives? Like, yeah. And then he takes up the dice, and you can see sweat pearls pouring down from his forehead. It's like, okay, and then he throws the dice, and it bounces up, down, and then spins around, up, down, spins around some more, and then finally it lands, and it lands on a 1. Yeah, so he was so pissed about this. Look here, the general's dead. He was like, I'm gonna fucking flip the table, man. He forced me to do that. I was like, yeah, I told you he will die. I told you. I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, so anyway, what else we do? I think we hex the vampires in the magic phase, but he dispels Awaken the Rat, which was the one he was most afraid of. And then we go into shooting, and shooting does nothing this turn either. And then we go into combat, and we start off with a Doom Wheel, whiffing all his attacks. I think he does like 1 wound his goose or so, and he does maybe a wound back or so, or I think he won with 1 in static. That's it. So I rank and a wound on me, and I did a wound on him. And of course I failed at rerollable leadership of 6 and flee. And he doesn't catch me though, but he makes me flee anyway, and that is my last turn, so he will either get full or half points from duel. And then we go into this combat here, and yeah, it sure as hell doesn't look that well for the Plague Monks. They are barely there, still hanging on, but I take with me another Vampire Knight, Vampire Courtier or whatever it's called, and then he eradicates my unit. Well, yeah, I think he actually kills me down to a single rat. That's what he does. Yeah, those vampires hit hard. Yeah, so it ends up looking like this. He then charges off my Doom Wheel off the table, and then he takes the Vampire Courtiers, or whatever it's called, and charges Catapult or so, and that's how it ends. Yeah, so let's see what the score got. So for starters, we have Torsten and Friends, the Night Runners, this crappy Catapult. I think that's basically it. He has 3 Vampire Knights, his skeletons, and a very damaged ghoul unit. That's what he has left. So it ends up on 11-9 in points, and then we add the secondary objective on top of that. So it ends with a total score of 14-6 towards the rats. So victory for the rats. So first victory against the vampires, which makes me very pleased. Sure, I did so many mistakes this game. I took this game for granted, to be honest. I thought it would be easier than it actually was, and that's the biggest mistake you can do. You should never, never, never underestimate your opponent. And this guy is a great guy. I played against him now for the 3rd time, and we always have a great laugh when we are playing against each other. And yeah, I think he played very well, to be honest. He played much better than I did, that's for sure. And my shooting was totally obsolete, which didn't help me either. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching, and I bid you a great day. So until we see next time, have a good one, and everybody, peace.